If I may ask you all to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Has everyone Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All in favor, motion carries. Would we like to, before we move on to old business, would we like to discuss the farmer's market proposal that was put into there?
Yes. I think that's a great idea.
I thought it was super proactive, and I think it'd be a nice use of 13 lane fear.
Mhm.
If I might have a motion, I'd like to,
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
and I'd like to offer our support. Motion made by Councilwoman Bradley, seconded by Councilwoman Farrell. May I have all in favor say aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Absolutely. Full support of a farmer's market. It sounds great. Yep. We have some occupancy tax requests to look at. Well, let's start with the great job Mr. Thomas did here on the docks.
So the dock's out of the water, half of it's complete. The rest of the decking needs to be changed. We only changed out what we broke, putting the floats underneath it.
Okay.
So there's receipts in here, and then there's also the request for the rest of the material to finish changing out the exterior frame of the 2x6s, and there's one dock bracket that's broken.
Okay.
But they come by the pair from Lowe's.
Yeah.
So unless the town has a spare one hanging somewhere.
I don't think we have a spare dock bracket that I'm aware of.
You do?
I mean, if Harold was here, I'd ask him, but I don't think I have a spare one that I'm aware of. My only question is on this form, it says you're requesting 2,600.
Yep.
On the next page at the very bottom, it says the grand total project value is 2,810 and 84 cents. I just want to double check to make sure that I'm not missing anything.
No, so that is the volunteer labor included in.
Okay.
That was just that first phase of the second page there.
Mhm.
That's the projected cost. So it's total materials of the 1792.49, which is the initial part.
Okay.
And then on the back side or second page, depending on how much money printed them,
Mm-hmm.
is the $713, which is the rest of the material needed to complete that. And then on the
Okay.
a couple of causeways on the other side, there's a couple 2x6s that need to be replaced. So that's included in there as well.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
from what I want.
Understandably.
So. It's like 2,500 or 2,506.12 is the total that I currently have estimated, but I just made it 2,600. I don't expect to go over that.
Okay. May I have a motion to approve $2,600 for the dock and viewing area at the trails through Octax Beautification and Tourism?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Bradley, seconded by Councilwoman Farrell. May I have a roll call vote?
Councilman Thomas,
I'll abstain.
Councilwoman Farrell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bradley,
Yes.
Supervisor O'Neill.
Yes. Moving right along. Mr. Neil Bradley has presented us with a request for $2,500 total asking and a lovely visual of what we expect the front would look like with some landscaping and a beautiful V-plow set up to advertise the highway department and the town hall area.
Just so Neil, I'm not interrupting, I forget that. It's gonna have a list of all the highway superintendents too, from the start of the town to the end at the front of that. So it's gonna be more of a dedication.
And it'll be dedicated to the previous and current highway superintendents of Stony Creek. And hopefully we'll have plenty of room to add more names for the future superintendents as well.
And that's just a rendition. I'm gonna change a couple of things. Maybe we'll say highway department on both sides, maybe say offices on one side. So it's gonna be packed. It's gonna be tasteful.
I feel like here would be office, like this
Yeah,
way. and this
yeah.
way would be,
Yeah, so that
garage
it
and
divides
then-
you out.
yeah.
I'll just add, it's just a rough sketch, so.
I think it looks great, and I know you guys always do an awesome job.
I'll introduce it.
I'll second.
Motion made by Councilman Thomas, seconded by Councilwoman Farrell. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Councilman Thomas,
Yes.
Councilwoman Farrell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bradley,
Yes.
Supervisor O'Neill,
Yes. All in favor, motion carries.
And that's just my name on there, but she's working on it, but that's kind of the highway department doing that.
Yeah, it's a beautification of the town. It's
Yeah,
not
just
like
wanna make that-
specifically you personally, it's the highway department. So
Yeah.
hence why I didn't abstain.
I just wanted to give you credit for putting forward the
Yeah, yeah.
request. That's all.
Somebody wrote a letter saying.
Believe me, you have to submit receipts before anything gets paid for. And I also have one in here for the Historical Society, requesting $5,000. Was it?
One for the library.
Oh, the library. And then the historical. My apologies. Yes. So the library for promotions, advertising, and promotional items is $3,500. And it does say that they're going to be having a booth for both days of a booth at Mountain Days. My mistake. I assume that money will also pay for that tents. May I have a motion
I'll introduce it.
and a second?
What are the promotional items?
I assume well, it's a library. I mean, I didn't ask them. It doesn't list the specific promotional items on here.
I mean, it's not
I
like-
believe they usually give out like,
I mean, obviously it's free items.
yeah,
It's not something
normally I
that-
think they give out like a Frisbee or something of that nature. I thought it was last year.
It's not items that
Um,
they're gonna sell and benefit from because that's not what bed tax money is used for, correct? I just wanted to make sure. I just wanted to clarify that, that's all.
I've never seen the library selling anything.
Okay.
I'll second it.
I'll second.
Except-
Well, Sandy and I both
Except for
seconded,
book
so-
sales to try to generate funds. Yeah, the bake sale, the book and bake sale, they had really good food there too. Cookies. So I will ask for a roll call vote.
Councilman Thomas.
Yes.
Councilwoman Farrell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bradley,
Yes.
Supervisor O'Neill,
Yes. Okay, now we'll move on to the Stony Creek Historical Association's request.
Technically, bed tax is not supposed to be used for equipment. I know that's kind of like a double-edged sword depending on how you
it's-
look at it.
It's a gray area because it does explain that one. When you buy a piece of equipment, depending on what it is, for instance, if they were asking for a pressure washer, right, to maintain the buildings, that would be beautification because they're using it to maintain the buildings. A mower specifically, I could understand, but it's tough because they're
Is
an
a brush mower only
organization
needed
that's,
for 1 acre of land. It's like less than an acre.
I
I'm pretty
can't
sure
argue
we
that
have,
either.
I'm pretty sure we can manage that with maybe our maintenance crew helping out.
I think if our
assisting,
maintenance
or-
crew used the weed whackers, that, they could definitely get that taken care of.
And the calendars that are on here, don't they sell them?
The calendars they do sell
Which is
at
not
the
bed tax money.
concerts. Yeah,
You
Not
can't
for that.
okay.
sell and profit sell items that you're using bed tax money to purchase.
So
So
2 months ago, we approved a zero-turn mower to maintain the field at 13 Lanford Road.
For
that's why
beautification.
I said it's kind
Not
of a
just
gray
13
area.
Lanphier,
Like
but yes,
it's,
for the Parks Department.
so it depends on how but it's a gray area. That's why I'm asking. That's why I'm bringing it up. That's why I'm asking. But it's 1 acre of land. So we really don't need to spend this much money on 1 acre of land when we can have like the maintenance guys weed whack and take care of that one little area. I mean, that's a lot of money going out the window for something that's going to be used how often?
Well, I think it was mainly in question for the maintenance of the whole trail system, as we're trying to sort through that and figure that out. If the town's gonna take care of the trail system, that's great. So it's all point of discussion as far as which group's gonna take all those and make sure they maintain, so.
Gotcha. So it's more than just one area. It was looking like the whole
Yeah, to
entire.
maintain 3 feet around, instead of brush hogging all the fields, mowing down all the blueberries, when we first started with the Dean Farm, we had a group of guys that came in, offered to raise blueberries on the fields and stuff out there. There's a lot of nice blueberry patches that could be mowed around. The contract says fields have to be maintained, not that they have to be mowed. So there's a lot of enrichment possibilities for the Dean Farm trails and the Dean Farm.
There is.
So that was the thought when I talked to Tom and those guys about, the DR mowers for the swamp area by them and for the sections we can't get the brush hog and the ride-on mowers into.
So
I
if
mean-
we're able, if the town is going to use bed tax money, the town itself can use bed tax money to help budget for maintaining the trail system, I think that would be like a smarter route to go. The highway department can help out if they're not too busy. They can assist. We have, the maintenance guys. It just wasn't in the budget for this year.
Yeah.
It wasn't in the budget, but now that we're aware, we can incorporate it into the budget and plan for future. I don't agree with us. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. Now, because of the discussion with the calendars, would we like to send that back for review and ask them that they would have to resubmit?
Yeah, they
Or,
can give the calendars away for free. That's what bed tax money would be for. It's not
no,
to get
I
an item and sell it and make a profit.
understand completely on the advertising of it. Okay. Further discussion? Okay. We will continue on. So I believe
Money out of.
at this time, it's going to be budgeted for next year because we haven't won any grants or documentations on it. With that being said, $25,000 to $30,000 would either become a general fund expense, which I don't really want to do, or it could be done with OCTAX, basically, due to the fact that it is the field and it is for Americans with Disabilities Act compliance to try to update our facilities to better accommodate those with disabilities.
So this time we don't have the 30,000 to fund this other than occupancy tax.
I mean, we have it we'd rather not spend it out of the general fund if possible, because I'd like to try to keep a reserve so I can budget with it for next year. However, at this time, it would be better if we earmarked it with occupancy tax, that way we'd also have that in reserve as well to cover this if New York State agrees to give us the 75-30% grant, or 75-25 rather.
So you're not committed to this?
We haven't committed to it yet.
No, it says you're
No.
not committed to any financial contribution.
Yeah,
If
not
you do
until,
agree to it.
Yeah.
Unless you're approved for a grant.
exactly. So the whole idea is that this is going to lay the groundwork to say, all right, we have a nice design.
Mhm.
We want to apply it to our lakefront and riverfront grant program through the state of New York. That program would help make Americans with Disabilities Act and improvements in that for our fields, which are right there along the creek. It would help with the corridor from the Four Corners to the creek, or to the park rather. And like I said, if we don't get if New York State says, all right, well, we'd rather give, so-and-so the grant, and they're going to do, whatever park or something like that, we aren't out of any pocket expense. However, if we did get the grant at the 75-25 match, then we would begin the engineering stages and material lists and all the other goodies to try to start getting this work done.
Yeah.
There are some other items that we're going to go on during our new business that are included in this, which if we move forward with, like, we already have internet at the park, but its reliability is questioned daily. So, I mean, and it could be simple stuff, little things like the booster's too low to the ground,
The
or
wavelength should be higher.
the weather, or Frontier's aero system. You know what I mean? There are multiple factors into why it's not a sustainable, reliable system. We're going to discuss that under new business. But doing that, starting phase one or moving forward to help benefit the park, also shows the state that we are investing it back into our community to do what is already designed. And that would save money on our long run. So, one less thing that they would have to engineer, and we could focus on like the parking lot area, or, moving along to trying to get no parking signs along 13 Lanphier, or something, safety, lighting, making it better for concerts, improving electrical access for vendors and events. He had quite the intricate list. He included things like kiosks and advertising bulletin board, stuff of that nature, which are great ideas, like the one at our firehouse, where it has a rotating message that can continuously advertise what event is coming up or what event is going on. So if I may ask for a motion or a resolution to agree up to $30,000 maximum if we were to get the grant from the state of New York.
I'll make a motion.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
Excellent. Motion made by Councilwoman Bradley, seconded by Councilwoman Carroll. May I have a roll call, please?
Councilman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Farrell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bradley,
Yes.
Supervisor O'Neill,
Yes. I think that covers all of our correspondence for this evening. Under old business, Peter Lagasse is making headway on the 911 mapping system. A lot of people have asked or stopped by or called and questioned. Mr. Lagasse was sending them a letter verifying address numbers, or was giving them a call to verify address numbers for either remote properties or camps or close proximity properties where the numbers may be in confusion. He's been doing really well at that. If Mr. Lagasse does approach you or send you a letter requesting information, it is to update the 911 system to make sure that we can get resources to people who are in need when they're in their emergency. All right. Receipts. So YDP is Youth Development Program through the Youth Bureau of Warren and Washington counties. We have receipts submitted for reimbursement regarding our field trips and our youth program. So that'll help us back on budget and make sure that we're on track for that youth program going into the fall. The towing bill was sent to the insurance for reimbursement. So regarding the accident that the dump truck had, that bill has been sent in for reimbursement and should be squared up, no problem. The bathroom is open at the Dean Trails. The Historical Society has opted to maintain it. We are appreciative of their volunteering, and we made sure that it was taken care of for them to make sure it was unlocked and accessible to the public. So there are restrooms available for anyone who is walking. Councilman Thomas has been completing the AED program scanning, and we appreciate that. Thank you very much for our public access defibrillators.
Yeah, and I have a new QR code for the one at the highway department I have to attach, so.
All right. We can make sure that gets down there for you.
Yeah, I got home up anything.
And then I'd like to proceed by saying thank you to you and the community for volunteering to refloat the dock at the Dean Trails. It was in severe need of that TLC, and we appreciate that here.
Yeah, we got lucky. There was a dock company in Amsterdam that went out of business. So instead of paying $250 a float, we were down to $125 per float. So other than the truck ride to Amsterdam and back to get them, that saved us quite a bit.
Yeah, that's huge.
So each float's rated for 350 pounds, and there's 10 of them under it. So
It's out of the water now.
Yeah,
pretty
very.
deep out there. I didn't realize just how deep it was on the back side of the dock. It's even with the bottom of my chin.
Ooh.
Love way you could just walk out there.
Oh, nice. Would have been really mucky then. I
Yeah.
like swimming around better. I wouldn't suggest it though. I've got a pretty good swimmer's itch going. Both ankles. Good stuff in that pond.
As long as you don't drink the water, you won't get the beaver fever.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Corinth Vet Clinic is going to be our partner for the dog control officer. They are the only ones who actually replied with a ponce. I hate to say it that way. We had responses. Exit 17 said that they could only do it during certain hours, certain days because of their 24/7 coverage issues, which was a whole nother cup of tea. Warrensburg was unavailable, and I wasn't going to ask Dave to drive to Wilton. So that left the Corinth Vet Clinic. Now, on top of them offering to work with us, they also offered us 20% off on municipal services and fees. So that, again, saves us some tax dollars and provides better care for the animals as required by the state of New York's update. Warren County has adopted a new rabies program. You may have heard about it with the two people that were attacked by the savage beavers of Lake George, which you've never heard before, but it's a sentence. So the rabies plan is available here at the town hall, and a copy is distributed to our animal control officer for this meeting.
Did you happen to contact Glen Falls Animal Hospital?
I did. I didn't believe that they got back to us.
Do you have an idea of how much they're going to charge? It's very expensive.
I know that they're expensive, 20% off, and they didn't give us a definitive number on what they would do by basis. So if we bring one dog, it's like flat fee. Then if you bring 2 dogs and 3 dogs, so on and so forth, it would become more and more, obviously. It would compound. But since we didn't get any positive replies on the others that we'd called, if anyone comes up or has a vet clinic that wants to work with us, that would offer us a fair or a better deal, we'd be happy to save some money and even more happy to work with them.
Are they going to be available? Say he has to pick up a dog at 2:00 in the morning, and it's
They
sick.
said that they said that they have the 24-hour number and that they're always available. So they were very, very polite, and we are not the only municipality that they work with. She named a few others as well. Corinth, I can't remember if it was Luzerne or Hadley, but she named 3 other towns, so we won't be the only ones that are in the same boat. And really, it's because the state changed the rules this year and gave us some unfunded mandates and made a mandate that essentially says, if you find the dog, you have to make sure that it gets its shots, or that it is maintained, or that it has a collar. And a lot of these things we have given Dave as tools, like scanner for the chip, if the dog is chipped or not, whether it's wild, the things that our animal control officer is not supposed to be responsible for. I'm not going to ask him to to go to Tractor Supply and buy medicine for a dog. He's not a vet. That's not his position. It's not in this. It's not in the public's safety or interest to do that. That's what a vet is for. So having this is something that they require, and it just brings us up to par with the state of New York. Committee reports. Well, actually, does anyone have anything to add to old business before I move on?
I
Absolutely.
just want to know if we can surplus the 08, the dump truck, and try to sell that thing.
Okay. Oh, the one that was in an accident.
So if we leave surplus it tonight, I'll just take some offers and I'll run by you guys and see how we want to get rid of that. I think we'd make more if we could piecemeal it, but somebody would offer something for it and we can discuss it there, you know what I mean? If we leave surplus, I can get the word out and stuff.
All right. Would the board be interested in putting a slightly been in an accident 2008 International dump truck for salvage and to let it go? We'll put it on surplus list.
Yeah, if we can get something out of it, whatever's,
So I'll bring back numbers. I won't do anything yet. I just want to surplus it and so it's ready to go. And then I can advertise it if you guys want to do that, or we can want to piecemeal. Want me to put it out to bid first? If you guys want to go that route, and we'll see what happens and see if anyone wants to put a bid on it. I don't think you're going to get anything. It's going to have to be piecemeal. Someone's going to want a motor or transmission, but it's a lot of work for us. But I can discuss it later, whenever we can figure it out. I don't think there's any hurry, but I know that somebody's interested in the box, so we can start piecemealing it. But
The 2008 International dump truck that had been in an accident.
I'll make a motion.
a second.
I'll let Ms. Farrell second this time. Motion made by Councilman Thomas, seconded by Councilwoman Farrell. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Do you have anything else that you would like to report or any other?
yeah, there's actually a couple things I guess that probably should be known. Yeah, so Thurman's using the more that we were borrowing their mower.
Yeah.
So we'll support it like that, and they needed it back. So I may rent one in August. We'll see how that works. I may have the option. So if I do rent one, it'll be for 2 weeks. I won't need it for long. So we'll try to get by what we got. But we did get a lot of roads mowed somewhat, so we're kind of not too far home. But so we are no longer with a mower. And I do have a thing with Warren County to see if we can get. I talked to John about that. They have the same mower we have on our old mower, and they needed a pump. We have the pump because we have the same mower. It's going to be surplus, and they don't want it. So I can't see how we're not going to end up with it. So hopefully we get that going and run that for the rest of the year. Other than that, that's it. And the fours we're almost ready for paint. That's it.
Things are moving right along around here. Are there any other reports of committees?
So just on the Dean Farm Trails, there's a lot of reports of trees down on the upper section back to the pond. I haven't made it out there. I hope to make it out Monday, just because I know there is a walk coming in. With, I think 3 p.m. they're supposed to go out and do some bird watching, walking. I've also put together a Friends of the Dean Heritage Farm Trails Facebook page. I'm the admin on that. It's just when I was doing a bunch of research on it, I had no place else to put all the information. So any information I find about the Dean Heritage Farm Trails, whether it's news articles or any events coming up, I try to slide it out on there. If anybody wants to work the page with me, let me know. I'm willing to add extra admins to it. No big deal. Page. So you have to have a Facebook account, and then I can attach you to it. So that way we can keep the information out about the trails. I did encourage everybody to please sign in. That way when we start looking for grants, we'll have that information as well. I do have all the sheets out of the book that were up there. I'm going to file at home just because it was getting a little full.
I can understand that.
So trail-wise, I walked the lower section. This weekend we had Jill Diamond, Kim Thomas, and Carol Thomas. Jill worked on a bunch of the stone work to get some of the weeds and stuff out.
Okay.
And I think Kim and Carol mowed around and did some brush work, but there's still quite a bit of brushing to be done. So hopefully we'll get a weekday trail work at some point. If anybody wants to help with that. Neil had dropped off the town's loader. We didn't actually end up using that because the dock was a lot more labor intensive than I imagined. Just getting it picked up out of the water for enough room to get the dock floats in underneath it and then going from there. So, but it all came together pretty good. There's some of the 2x4s or 2x6 framework on it's less than great condition, but it's all, we took the blockade off it. It's all very walkable. We had 6 people on it at the end of the day. There was no problems. So I don't see any hazards with it. It's just getting the rest of the material and then getting the day down there and putting it back together. So
Very good.
and we're putting it together with screws this time so that as things need to come up, they can come apart easier. Those galvanized nails are amazing. So
They last forever. Thank you, sir. All right. And with that, we will move on to new business. I recently had an audit done here at the town hall for our internet and technology issues. Our town hall has a lot of need for a dedicated IT professional. And many, many, many upgrades that are past due. I provided you all with a
Interesting copy.
lovely packet. Yeah. I also provided a packet for internet at the town park. So they're not together. The managed IT services proposal would cover both the long term of the park and the town hall, but the park program, the infrastructure initiative at the recreational park, is separate so that the 3 phases of that could seek alternative funding. Be it OCTAX or New York State grant or communications grant, or I hate to say the word grant anymore because there's other opportunities. There's private and public funding. I've also contacted some other agencies like the Adirondack North Country Association to see if they had some assistance that they could provide us or some of the knowledge that they may have in pointing us in the right direction for assistance with these programs. But we are behind the 8 ball and overdue on some of these upgrades. To make sure that it was fair and equitable, I also requested an evaluating and managing of IT services and service provider questions. Yep. So that we know what it is that we're looking for and what we're looking at. And I hate to say that I'm not great with computers because I'm above average with computers, but I can tell you that this is beyond my depth when it comes to computers. I do not know enough about the Norton and Windows Defender, McAfee, and the IP switches and gateways and subnets, and the more I read about it, the more I'm like, okay, well, I definitely need an expert.
Well, this should have been taken care of long before you.
I always try to look towards the future because I don't get anything out of the past.
True. I'm just trying to say, like, this isn't,
No,
like,
it's
this should have already been
when you see
handled
how
or
deep
taken
the hole
care of.
is,
When
it's
I
one of those things.
read the report.
They should have
I
been-
have no words. This should have already been taken care of.
Yes.
That's all I have to say about that. So regardless, we did not budget for this year. It was not in the budget. However, this report, it needs to be done. So regardless, one way or another, we have to get this taken care of.
Yes. What I'm going to seek is your approval to enter into this agreement. Now, we can table it for a month if you're not comfortable, if you want more time to look into it or research it. But I can tell you right now, we're not going to get a better deal on it. The other big box store brands and companies that I spoke with they're not willing to work with us as far as a budget. They're basically like a flat rate. You know, when you're talking to like Verizon or talking to Sprint or one of those guys. So getting getting the continued support is what's going to be the question of expense. Miss Heather?
As you guys know, I'm the court clerk. We just had court on whatever the second Monday was. The new internet system, my computer is in the court's office, my laptops are out here. They didn't communicate with each other, which made it so that I had to run back and forth to my office. And I now can't access the internet at all in the courtroom.
Which is where we're
during
sitting.
court, so it cannot be tabled per month. It has to be handled like before, I think, August 10th is our next court date. Because otherwise I have no internet and we're gonna have to postpone court.
So I'd like permission to enter into an agreement to begin this process. I talked to him and he understood our budgetary concerns, so it's not a matter of we're not paying the bill up front as it is. It's something that he's been willing to budget with us. So there is an upfront cost, which is included in your packet. Next one down here. Yep, that's one. It's always done in phases because and the company is IT Care and Repair, LLC.
And this was the cheapest.
This is the one that was most willing to work with us, has other experiences with municipalities, and
Are they working with Warren County? Like, can we get like some kind of discount, or is that not a thing? How does that work?
Warren County has its own IT personnel,
Mhm.
which has their own company, but through the shared services agreement becomes another web of issue. So the agreement with the county for shared IT services requires us to carry a large insurance policy regarding cybersecurity. However, at this time, the way our system all are set up, quality for the amount of money that's requested. And it's not because it's not uniform, it's because we don't have the dedicated over management required for them to give us that kind of policy blindly. So what I'm trying to do is bring all of our systems into a managed and control our assets, and to make it so that we can get the cybersecurity policy, and so that we can work more closely with the county on their IT to save money in the future. But at this time, they are very separate.
So the total monthly would be $1,775. So $1,775, and that would be every month. What is this? 61 network, $1,775 a month. Total monthly managed services.
Yes.
That we-
Yep. That's one network, 6 computers, and 5 hours dedicated at 125 an hour as well. And then, of course, rolling unused hours carry forward, which just means that this number could go down if he doesn't have to come here, or if their team doesn't come here.
Mhm.
And if we don't have to have their services, like if they're here every day, this number will never get more than that.
Okay, but if they're here
But
less,
If
it'll go
they're here
down.
less, that'll go down. Correct.
So we didn't budget for this either, but we have no choice. We have to,
This is a
We-
tough one.
we need this.
Yes,
So
this is,
there's no question.
yeah, I mean, it's an absolute necessity for today's day and age, and we can't rely on the county's umbrella to
Right.
keep us out of the rain.
So what is gonna pay for this right now? Is this gonna come out of, what is this gonna come out of? What line number? What is this coming out of?
I do not know what line number it's coming out of just yet. I would tell you general fund, but I don't want to just give you a crock, as it were. What I'd like is your approval, and then I will find out where we can pull the money from to afford it so that we
Based
don't
off everything
shortchange
that I read in the
ourselves.
report, I'm not trying to cut you off, and
No,
I
you're right.
apologize, but based off everything that I read in the report,
Mhm.
I make a motion because this is an absolute necessity and we will have to figure it out one way or the other.
I'll second that.
And we definitely need the reliability, as Heather stated, as the court clerk stated. We got to have this system running so that we can use the streaming on the internet, so that we can run the court like it's supposed to, so that we have these meetings.
We have security and
Yes, exactly. So we have security, professional knowledge at fingertips
Right.
for any questions that may arise.
And Mr. O'Neill, may I add that the owl does not have any sound? That's why I came. That to tell you that it wasn't working. And Neil's live stream keeps losing internet left and right. So to have your live stream board meeting, to have courtrooms and everything.
to make sure that only town officials have access to what they should have access to. Many things.
And to have a guest network for the kids to be able to do their homework during the youth program. Yes, all of those reasons that make the world we live in today run properly is definitely on there. All right.
Cybersecurity.
No, the park is on
Is this completely separate?
it is on a separate proposal.
Okay.
That
Something
is,
to add for that as well.
yes, the rec field needs to be done.